Hello, Archie Dunlop here with Talking Astrology with Archie on Wednesday, September the 6th, 2023. This video is standalone. I'm not going to talk about any particular topic. I will be putting up another video in a few hours' time where I'm going to be looking at the horoscope of Hillary Clinton. So why? Well, the reason being is that I put up a video a day or two ago in which I said that we don't know for sure what time Hillary Clinton was born. And I was corrected. Lisa Michelle 7984 wrote a comment under the video saying that, yes, we do know Hillary Clinton's time of birth. So I checked this out, and yes, that's true. Something has changed. A couple of years ago, I looked at the Astro.com website, which has the birth data for famous people, celebrities, and so on, and it clearly said that Hillary Clinton's time of birth was dirty data. There were different times being thrown about, and so we didn't know for sure. So I thought, well, it's dirty data, DD, so I can say with confidence that we don't know for sure what time she was born. But yes, things have changed. Hillary's birth certificate has emerged, and we now know what time she was born. And so I was wrong to say that it was dirty data. So the advantage of that is that I can now look at her horoscope, and that is what I will do. And I will be putting up a video very soon where I look at her horoscope. So thank you, Lisa Michelle 7984, for correcting me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look at the astrology for today, and today is Wednesday, September the 6th, 2023. So this is the chart. It's set for New York at noon, and probably the main aspect today is a trine aspect between Moon in Gemini and Mars in Libra. There you go. And the Moon is also making a sextile to Venus. So yes, so that's probably the main feature of today. And I would have said that most astrologers are going to be focusing on this as something very positive, and I would certainly concur with that. The Moon trine Mars is assertive, but not assertive in a kind of a violent way, because Mars is in Libra, Moon is in Gemini. It's being assertive with our thoughts and with our ideas. So it's a great time for expressing ourselves in a free, natural kind of way. We do have to be a bit careful though, because Mars is in Libra. Mars rules Aries, therefore it's in its detriment in Libra. Mars, a planet of assertion, is in a planet often connected with compromise. So when we express our ideas and our view of the world, we have to be careful that we're not watered down. People might take some of our ideas but reject the rest of it, and if we're not assertive, we could find that we lose control of what we say. So it's important to be very forthright. So if you want to talk about your ideas, be clear that that they're your ideas, and that you don't want anyone stealing these ideas, and you don't want anyone watering these ideas down. Moon also sextiling Venus. From a perspective of relationships, that's really good. It's a good time to meet new people, to relate to new people. It's not though, a particularly emotional combination, Moon sextile Venus. Normally it would be, because Moon and Venus are both feminine planets, responsive, emotional, and so on. But you've got to look at the signs. Moon is in Gemini, Venus is in Leo. So if you're meeting new people, it's not, or old people trying to intensify existing relationships, it's not the emotional content that matters. It's about just getting on with them, and Venus in Leo is about excitement, perhaps. Moon in Gemini also, so it's about enjoying other people's company. It's not about some kind of emotional merging. So that's what you need to have in mind when you meet people. It's about having fun. If you've fallen out with someone recently, or there's been you've distanced yourself from someone, now's a great time to sort of come back together and to rediscover the spark. So overall, that's pretty good. But it's not the whole story of what's going on today. You will notice that the Sun and Mercury are making a conjunction. This conjunction could be problematic. Mercury, yes, Mercury is in Virgo. Mercury is in its own sign. So in one sense, Mercury is strong, but Mercury is moving retrograde. It's been moving retrograde for some time now, and it is combust. In other words, it is conjunct the Sun. When planets are conjunct the Sun, by and large, they are weakened, because they are like burnt out. The Sun is it's a star, and the planet that the Sun is conjunct to just can't properly express itself. So we might find that we make mistakes. Mercury is a planet of thinking. It's also the planet of communicating. But we're so close to the Sun that we may not be able to think straight. There may be just too many distractions. Or what could happen is that there may be people out there who've got big egos who don't allow us to get a word in edgeways. So watch out. Or maybe if you're that person, let people express themselves. If you're a kind of larger-than-life person who likes the sound of your own voice, ease off a bit, because there are people out there who want to talk, and you need to let them, give them space in which to express themselves. But in general, it may be a bad day for getting your detailed plans out into the open, particularly if there's a lot of detail there, because you might be distracted, or you might make a crucial mistake. Sun conjunct Mercury. Sun, you think you know it, but actually you don't know it, and that is a problem with Sun Mercury. And this Sun Mercury conjunction is sesquiquadrate, is 135 degrees from Pluto in Capricorn. So Pluto is kind of involved in this complex. So how might this manifest? Could manifest in two possible ways, at least. One possible way is that we're just so overwhelmed by these heavy forces around us that we find it difficult to communicate. Now, you're probably noticing now that I'm starting to contradict myself, because I've just said that, Moon trine Mars is great for getting our ideas into the open. My defense of that is it depends how you do it. Moon trine Mars and sextile Venus, it should be light. It should be easy. It's not about anything complicated. But as soon as you start making things complicated, as soon as you start talking about stuff that is heavily detailed, as soon as you start talking about getting into areas that are critical, where by critical I mean if you make a mistake, it's bad, it's complicated stuff, then you have to be really careful there. Pluto is intense, and with Pluto sesquiquadrate Mercury, there may be people out there who are very manipulative with words and ideas. The Pluto Mercury contact is often connected with propaganda. People, states, organizations trying to manipulate the message. So watch out for that. People trying to make you actually doubt your own senses, trying to tell you that no, you got it wrong. Trying to, I suppose the word now is gaslit, isn't it? Or that would be Mercury Pluto. People trying to make you question the foundations of your own beliefs in extreme situations. That's just a warning. For most of us, I think we can just work on the level of that moon trine Mars. But some of us involved in complicated areas with complicated people, then we might have to take into account, that Sun-Mercury conjunction, sesquiquadrate Pluto. So a mixed day. If you keep it light, it should be fine. So what I want to do now is look at my forecasts for the 12 signs. So here are my forecasts for today, which is Wednesday, September the 6th, 2023. Aries, you recognize the interconnectedness of things, the fact that few things can happen without a collective effort. This new awareness allows you to communicate with great effectiveness and to moderate your message to fit your audience's changing mood. You then find a way to be quietly persuasive. Taurus, you're looking to ground yourself in a material sense. So things like home and money are going to be important to you, or at least they should be important to you. But when you give the matter some thought, you realize that there are two separate approaches. Do you try one, or do you try the other, or perhaps you try to bring the two approaches together? Gemini, you're not paying attention, or rather, you're distracted. You think one thing is important when actually it is something else that is important. To deal with the situation, it might be a good idea to spend as little time as possible on the phone and to avoid conversations with persuasive people. And yet, being a typical Gemini, you want to talk. Cancer, just because you want to keep a low profile doesn't mean that you can't have good relations with the people around you. After all, the moon, your ruler, is making a fantastic aspect to Venus. With very few words, you can put everyone at their ease, and whatever is at stake, you can give it the best chance of working out for you. Leo, Venus continues to pick up speed in your star sign, so your social life is returning to normal and you can restore certain relationships to their former glory. But don't make the mistake of crowding people out, because right now you need to hear all sides of an argument, and if you prevent someone from expressing themselves, there could be trouble at a later stage. Virgo, you're ambitious, and you're perhaps in a hurry to get results. But you can't do everything on your own, and you do need some outside support. Yet, with the Sun making a conjunction to Mercury, your ruler, you do have to be careful. There's a danger that you have a fundamental misunderstanding which brings you to a standstill. So be aware of your own vulnerability. Libra, you're becoming more popular, and there's at least one person who regards you as being indispensable. But you don't want to stay in the same mental space. Things are changing, and at some stage you have to broaden your horizons to incorporate new possibilities. Now is as good a time as any to make a start. Scorpio. It is not a day when you can do what you want in a sloppy, slapdash kind of way. A lot of planning will be required, and you have to be very aware of emotional realities. But I'm not saying it's a bad day. You're able to get a good understanding of what's going on if you make the effort, and you can get a glimpse into the underlying reality of the situation. This should help you in terms of both career and love. Sagittarius. Relationships work well. You're exciting, but you also have sufficient sensitivity. Though don't be surprised if partners and lovers want to do a lot of talking. Elsewhere, it's important not to jump to conclusions. You haven't got all the facts, and a couple of people may be strangely deceptive. Capricorn. There are things going on that you don't fully understand. You can make a guess based on surface appearances, but there's a good chance that you'll guess wrong. On the other hand, if you take the time to get a clear picture of the overall environment, then I think there's a good chance that you won't make mistakes. Aquarius. Things are starting to move in your favour, and you'll be luckier than average. The moon in Gemini, trines Mars in Libra, and this aspect has a direct impact on your star sign, meaning things move quickly, and what used to be difficult is now relatively easy. So pack in as much as possible and never say never. Pisces. Today, things aren't what you expect, and there may be a certain sense of disorientation. You might then assume the worst, but if you take a constructive approach and you give yourself time to get your bearings, then soon enough things will start moving. And some people are going to be a lot more confused than you. So those are my forecasts for the 12 signs, and I'm going to finish up by looking at the I Ching. So as usual, I threw 3 coins in the air and I asked the question, what is Wednesday going to be like for visitors to my YouTube channel? And I got a single hexagram. It doesn't move. Simply influence. 31 influence. In the Wilhelm translation of the I Ching, it has in parenthesis wooing. So it's a good time to intensify relations with the people around you, to see, to express yourself and get a good response. And actually, this hexagram chimes really well with the astrology. We've got, remember Mercury has sesquiquadrate Pluto. That's an aspect connected with propaganda, being manipulative, being able to bring people into our sphere through our clever words. So that's one way of looking at it. Also, moon sextile Venus is about getting on with people, restoring relations with people who in the past we might have fallen out. And so influence, we can build up our influence, whether it's in terms of relationships. I mean, that is strongly suggested by this I Ching. I mean, wooing, if there's someone you're attracted to and you want to get their attention, now might be the time to do it. If you're looking for a job, seeking out influential people, networking, slowly trying to ingratiate yourself with people. It's probably not a time for, dramatic social moves. That's not necessary. It's about slowly building yourself up, talking to people, and allowing your sort of influence to gradually spread. But it is locked. This hexagram does not move anywhere. Now, that doesn't invalidate it, but it indicates that kind of more work is needed. It's not enough just to have influence. It's not enough just to talk to someone important, just to talk to someone who, for example, may be able to offer you a job at a later stage, to talk to someone who, you know, you find attractive and you talk to them and you think, oh, things are going well, maybe something can happen. That's not quite enough. It's not saying it's going to go all the way. So something else will be required. And if you just rely on one social contact, and then you leave it and you think, oh, well, that's good. I've talked to someone. I've talked to the famous person. I've talked to the influential person, and now let's let the whole thing snowball. No, it's not going to snowball. You're going to have to do something else, and the I Ching is not at this stage telling you what that something else is. But you know, if you do leave it and you do you know, absolutely nothing, then you just hope that everything's going to be fine, then you might be disappointed. So yes, you're going to start having influence. Yes, people are going to start listening to you. Yes, you're going to have an impact on people. But at a certain stage, you're going to have to ask yourself, what is the next step? Anyway, that's all I'm going to say for today. And I will talk to you again very soon.